Back in the 1920s, the most fashionable thing a young woman could do was glow in the dark. People dusted their hair with radium powder, brushed it onto their teeth for glowing smiles, and drank radium-infused water as a daily health supplement. Ever since Marie Curie discovered the element in 1898, the world had gone completely blind to caution. Before anyone understood radiation sickness, the public treated radium like a scientific miracle cure-all. When World War I broke out, the military needed aircraft instruments and watches with glow-in-the-dark dials. Enter the United States Radium Corporation. They manufactured a highly profitable luminous paint and hired hundreds of working-class teenage girls to apply it. The pay was fantastic, and the factory environment felt almost glamorous. But painting tiny numbers required a fine brush tip. After a few strokes, the camel hair bristles would fray. To keep production moving quickly, managers taught the young women a strict technique. They were told to simply place the brush between their lips to sharpen it to a fine point, dip it in the glowing paste, and paint. When the workers asked if the paint was safe, managers assured them it was as harmless as medicine. Day after day, these women swallowed trace amounts of the paint, believing they were participating in a lucrative modern health trend. In reality, they were actively ingesting a lethal poison. The reason this exposure proved fatal comes down to a specific glitch in human biology. Our digestive systems cannot distinguish between distinct chemical elements if they share the same chemical group. This simplified periodic table shows exactly why the body failed the Radium Girls. Radium sits directly underneath calcium in group 2. Because they share the exact same valence electron configuration, meaning their outermost layer of electrons is identical, they behave the same way in chemical reactions. As this animation of the digestive process shows, when the workers swallowed the paint, their stomachs absorbed the radium and passed it into the bloodstream. The body looked at the radioactive element, mistook it for premium calcium, and enthusiastically shipped it directly to the skeletal system, locking it permanently into their bones. Zooming in on a single bone cell, we see the physics of radioactive decay take over. Radium has a half-life of 1,600 years, and it decays by emitting alpha particles. An alpha particle is heavy. It's essentially a helium nucleus moving at a fraction of the speed of light. If an alpha particle hits you from the outside, the dead outer layer of your skin stops it. But when the radium is embedded deep inside your bone matrix, it fires these heavy subatomic projectiles at point-blank range, 24 hours a day, straight into living bone tissue and DNA. The workers' biology was tricked into constructing a permanent internal radiation source that continuously rotted them from the inside out. By the mid-1920s, the horrific physical consequences began to surface. A worker named Molly Maggia visited a dentist for a routine toothache. When the dentist gently tapped her jawbone during an examination, the entire bone shattered. Her jaw had literally decayed away. She suffocated on her own blood and died at age 24. The executives at US Radium fully understood the substance was lethal. As seen here, the company's founders and scientists protected themselves by wearing thick lead aprons and using heavy tongs to handle raw radium. Yet they allowed their teenage workforce to ingest the material daily. As the dying girls suffered from collapsing spines and massive bone tumors, US Radium launched an aggressive cover-up campaign to protect their profits. The company paid off crooked medical examiners to falsify the workers' medical documents. Officially, the cause of death for these young women was listed as syphilis. In the 1920s, a sexually transmitted disease carried severe social stigma. By weaponizing that stigma, the corporation successfully shamed the victims, silenced their grieving families, and legally dodged paying out massive workers' compensation claims. In 1927, 5 dying factory workers, led by Grace Fryer, defied the corporate cover-up and filed a highly publicized lawsuit against US Radium. The company's legal strategy was brutal: delay the proceedings as long as possible, hoping the women would physically succumb to radiation poisoning before a jury could reach a verdict. The women held on long enough to win a historic settlement. The proceedings legally proved that the corporation had knowingly placed its workforce in fatal conditions. By dismantling consequence-free industrial negligence, this victory laid the legal framework for the creation of OSHA and modern workplace safety standards that protect employees today. But the physics of the element mean the physical tragedy of the Radium Girls is far from over. Because of radium's 1,600-year half-life, their bodies have barely begun to cool. If you were to walk into the cemeteries in New Jersey or Illinois tonight and sweep a standard Geiger counter, like the one pictured here, over their headstones, the machine would detect the radiation and scream. Their heavily radioactive skeletons lie beneath the earth, glowing in the dark as a permanent, millennium-long monument to the lethal cost of unregulated corporate greed.
If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one.